Hello everyone, this is Brain Booster Sujata, SST educator. Today we are going to start the second sub-chapter of the Rise of Nationalism in Europe. The second sub-chapter name is The Making of the Nationalism in Europe. Lastly, in the first point or in the first sub-chapter, we have studied that in the France, the idea of nationalism were developed. When the idea of nationalism developed, they were clearly seen during the period of French Revolution. It was the impact of the nationalism which was developed among the people's mind. It was the impact of the sense of nationalism which was developed among the people's mind, and it was the clear expression when we learn about the French Revolution. But when French Revolution took place in the France, that time, what about the other European countries? When French Revolution took place, till that time, Europe was not a continent where the idea of nationalisms were emerged, because till the mid 18th century, Europe was no nation state at all. It means there was no idea of nationalism developed among the people. There was no sense among the people about the collective identity, about the collective culture. So till the mid 18th century, Europe was no nation state at all. You will find out specially about the Germany and Switzerland. Germany and Switzerland was the largest area of the European continent, but it was under the control of kingdoms, duchies and cantons. So these areas, kingdoms were ruled by the kings, by the duchies, and duchies and cantons were the part, means how in India there were the states which were ruled by the various kings at their regional level. Same way in the Germany, in the Switzerland, their areas or their territories were ruled by the kings, means they had their own kingdoms, duchies and cantons, means they had their own states which were ruled by the various kings of the various dynasties. So they were the rulers of that region. You will find out that there was no common bond among these people, because actually there was no sense of nationalism, no development of the idea of nationalism. And first thing was that Germany, Switzerland were ruled by the various kings, but the population was diverse. So there was no common bond which could gather the people together and share the idea of nationalism among them. What type of diverse population was there? You will find out that not only diversity among the people, there was a diversity in the rulers also. How it was the diversity? Eastern and Central Europe was specially ruled by the autocratic monarchies. They were ruled by the autocrats, means Eastern Europe and Central Europe was ruled by the autocrats, by the monarchs. But what about population? The population which was living in the Central and Eastern Europe, they were the diverse people. What kind of diversity was there? Because they did not have the collective identity, means they were just ruled by the autocrats and the monarchs. There was no common culture, no common ethnicity, and no common language. They were having the common, they did not have the common culture. They spoke the different languages. They were having the different ethnic groups also. So population was diverse by their religion, by their ethnicity, by their culture, by their language. So being such a type of diversity, how could the sense of collective belonging, or how could the idea of nation state emerge in the Europe? That is the main point, because in such a diversity, it is not easy to develop the idea of nationalism. Then how the idea of nationalism developed during such a situation? It is the point that we are going to discuss in this whole chapter. What were the things which helped to develop the idea of nationalism and the idea of nation state, not in the France, but we are especially talking about the Europe, nationalism in Europe. Second, most important thing we will also discuss about the diversity, that Habsburg Empire was ruling in the European continent, which was ruling the Austria and Hungary, today's Austria and Hungary. But Austria and Hungary were also, though they were given the names Austria and Hungary, they were not the nation states. They were just a patchwork of different regions and people, means different community people, different ethnic groups were living there. but there was no common bond between these people. They were seeing themselves as a people of the different groups, as a different community. So it was just a patchwork of different regions and the people from different regions and people of the diverse community were just living there. No sense of collective identity, collective belongingness, or no development of the idea of a nation state. So you will find out that it was just a patchwork of different regions and the people. What type of different people were living there and where they were living? What was the patchwork? Which area were patched under the Austria-Hungarian region? So it was the Alpine region, it was the Tyrol, it was the Austria, it was the Sudetenland, it was the Bohemia, and as these people were belonging to different regions, their languages were different, their culture was different, their ethnicity were different, so they were seeing themselves as a people of the different communities. So there was no sense of collective identity among them or the no nation state. Next important point, we'll see that in Hungary there was a lot of diversity. What type of diversity was there in Hungary? Half of the population was Hungary spoke the Magyar language, and remaining half of the population spoke the variety of dialects. Variety of dialects means they spoke their variety of regional languages. So there was no unity among their language also. There was no commonness among their language also. In Galicia, you will see that aristocracy. Aristocracy means ruling allied group. Rulers of the Galicia, they spoke the Polish language. Rulers were speaking the Polish language. What about common people? Common people, you will find out they were diverse people. Where? In the Galicia, they usually spoke the regional dialects in this region, and the rulers speak the Polish language. You will also find out that Habsburg Empire, boundary of the Habsburg Empire was specially consist by the peasantry group. They were the peasants. But being a peasant also, they were not belonging to one community, by one religion, by one language. They were also having a lot of diversity in the aspect of religion and the languages. Especially you will see that boundaries of the Austria-Hungarian Empire, there were the people of the different communities. For example, Bohemians and Slovaks were belonging to the north of empire. Slovens in Carniola, they were also a diverse group. Then you will see that Croats in the south were there. They were also the peasant group. Romans to the east and the Transylvania, they were also the diverse group. It means there was no any kind of commonness among these people which could bound them together and could develop the sense of nationalism, could develop the sense of national unity, could develop the one commonness, and so that there can emerge the idea of nation state. So what were the things in this? What were the things which developed in the Europe, and then the idea of nationalism emerged in the Europe? That is we are going to see, but in the next video. Thank you.